Well, welcome to the Voice of Florence. And I'm Teresa Ervin, your host. And here at the Voice of Florence, when we come together, we communicate, we integrate, and we move Florence forward. So thank you for being here today. Now, today, I have a special guest, and I believe the city of Florence and especially our educational system knows this gentleman very well. We have before us today, we will be meeting and introducing to some Craig Washington. Now, Craig was the former principal of Southside Middle School. And he has such a great history here. I hated to see him move forward into another area, but he's presently the principal at Columbia High School in Columbia, South Carolina. So, Florence, our loss were their gain. But guess what? We still have him living here with us. So we still have the essence of this wonderful man here in Florence. So I'd like to welcome today Principal Craig Washington.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the welcome, and it's great to be a part of your show and your message. Definitely, it's always been a pleasure to serve Florence, and still being able to live in Florence and serve in any capacity is a great capacity. Love the people of Florence, and especially our young people. Love that I've been able to be a part of so many lives, and continue to do so today.
Well, Craig, well, thank you. And once again, thank you for what you do as an educator, because as an educator, you shape the minds of the future. But being a principal, you also serve as a leader, especially for our teachers. And when I think about what we're going through today with this coronavirus, I would like to have you talk to me and the people of Florence about how has this COVID-19 changed the method in which you communicate with your fellow staff, and also the things that has occurred in the lives of our young people. And talk to us about that. And a little later, we want to talk about the parents, but how has this COVID-19 changed how you actually provide your educational system with all the things it needs to continue to flourish?
Well, I'll say right now, everything is definitely virtual. We're doing a lot of virtual instruction with our students, some limited paper and pencil
Mhm.
opportunities in terms of teachers dropping off packets or actually parents coming in, picking up packets. So a lot of non-contact with the individuals that we love to be around, and that's our students. That has been tough. During this time, relationships are so key and very important. One of the things I've shared with my staff at Columbia High is that those relationships matter, and making sure that we have strong relationships with these young people during this difficult time is going to be key to helping them overcome the challenges that they're facing. I want our kids to be able to be very transparent, very open, to share with us if they're having concern getting internet access, if they're having concerns with their basic needs being met. So for my staff, we put out a lot of information on our websites, on social media, and et cetera, trying to get our young people and our parents to engage with us. But this has definitely been a change. And for some of our young people, the positive strokes that we provide them, the encouraging words, just trying to provide them what they need on a daily basis is hard not being around them every day and being able to impart that on them. But we're finding new ways to do that, whether it be we're sending out encouraging videos, we're sending out phone messages, whether it be that we're sending messages to our students through some of our chat features embedded in Teams. We're doing things to try to continue to connect with our young people. But when we don't hear from them, we do get worried, because many of them have specific needs that we know might be going unmet because we're not a part of their lives right now.
Now, Craig, I'm used to the classroom setting. I know when we get into college setting, we have online. But when you're doing virtual education online, do the teachers actually have that ability? How do they see the students? Are they seeing like on individual screens, or is there a global classroom? For me, who my young adults are actually, one is still, well, two is in college, but I don't have anyone in high school. And so as a parent out there who may not have a high school student, how's this done when it comes to this virtual education? Do you see the students And how do you know if they're really participating? How's that done?
So there's several different ways that you know whether or not the students are participating.
Mm-hmm.
So several teachers are using different formats throughout the state. They're using a lot of formats, whether it be they're using Zoom like we're using right now for this type of
Mm-hmm.
contact, where you're sending a kid a code, the student is logging in and being able to see you, or they're using Google Hangout is another opportunity for you to do conferences with our students. Also Teams, which is a Microsoft product, is also another great tool. But all of these tools are ways where you can actually see your students, engage, and be able to connect with them. So if they have questions, concerns, they can speak with you directly and also engage with their classmates. Some teachers are able to do that on a regular basis. Some are not because of the variation in office hours throughout the state. And also the number of students that they're trying to reach at any given point in time. So recording your sessions are also critical and essential. So what's happening is that teachers are probably on from early in the morning
Mm-hmm.
to late at night, responding back to students with questions that they may have, to make sure that they're getting the content. I find that this is a very fluent way if you have things set up to educate young people. But many of our kids, they do desire and they need that contact. It'd be great if we had something that was kind of a hybrid where you had a little bit of online, a little bit of classroom. That would be a happy medium for most of our students. But we don't because of what's going on with COVID-19. But we're monitoring and adjusting. But the videos and this contact keeps the students engaged. Some of the activities that the teachers are pushing out to the students are keeping them engaged, but that contact is just critical. So every now and then, I'm telling my teachers, make sure that you do some kind of virtual video of connecting with your students. That relationship piece, I think, is key to motivating our students during this time. Motivation is going to be key to encouraging them to get the work done, first of all, to stay focused, and also to follow the rules according to what the state and according to what some of our city officials have asked us to do, and that's stay inside. Stay
Mm-hmm.
inside and non-essential travel. And that's hard for our young people. They want to engage with one another. They're bored. I've got two college kids at home right now, and they're ready to get out. But I've told them for the safety of our family, it's important that we stay in and follow the rules that are set forth by our government officials. And when we get past this, if anything, I feel that we've learned something valuable in terms of being prepared for a situation of this nature. But also, I hope that we learn a great appreciation for mankind in general. We've seen a lot of great things happen in the past couple of weeks with individuals giving and donating and creating opportunity for individuals throughout this whole process. So I am very happy to see that's occurring, but I want us not to forget it when it's over with. Let's stay together. Let's pull together as not only a city but a state and as a country.
And Craig, thank you for that. And I would like to reiterate just what you said. My young adult, she's a nursing student, but she's also works in the ER. And I found it amazing today. She had to do an online test, and she completed her test, and she was so excited. I mean, I'm gonna throw this shout out that she made
Yeah,
102 on her test, so she
that
was
is
really
awesome.
over the moon. Yes, and it was just great. And her first reaction was, one of her friends, they were going to go walking, and I looked and I said, "Well, when you go walking, are y'all going to be 6 feet apart?" And she just kind of like, "Oh," because even being in the
It's the
medical area,
thing.
she was just so excited. Their first reaction was to go and just walk and celebrate. And it was told me, Jaleel actually suggested this. They could still go walking, but they'll be walking separate and just having to do like a video
Virtual
chat.
walk.
Yeah, and so it's
Absolutely.
just yeah, and it's amazing like how we're having to change to be able to
Absolutely.
adjust to the situation we're in. But then again, I totally agree with you. In order to save lives, this is something that we have to do. And I think
Absolutely.
too, for me, and I'm gonna ask you this: have you found since we've had to do this that the appreciation for the ability to socialize in person Have you missed that?
Absolutely.
Do you really, does it stand out to you how much of a difference it is? How's that affected you socially?
Oh, definitely. For me, I'm a very expressive person. I
Hmm.
saw individual that I'd worked with, and they were very responsible. A big part of me coming into Florence One and saw that person and wanted to just run up to that person, shake their hand, hug them, and then we both kind of stopped for a moment, and then we had to do kind of the elbow, you know, bump,
Hmm.
so to speak. So
Yeah.
it's changed a lot on terms of how we conduct ourselves and how we show our emotions and etc. But I think that now we probably have to say it in those words, and for the most part, we're not good at that, always expressing ourselves. But
Hmm.
it's good to start that practice of expressing and letting people know, not just through your actions, but through your words, that you really care about them, and that they are important. And so those words, I think, are going to go a long ways in terms of helping to mend fences and also supporting each other. And so we don't have to guess. We know exactly where we stand each and every day. And so that's going to make a difference for us. But despite all this going on, I think we're learning a lot, but we need to continue to work together, come together, and stay together.
And I totally agree with you because me personally, I firmly believe that how we're going to be able to move forward and do this is by working together to get through this crisis. But once we're through this crisis, remember that we need each other and we need
Absolutely.
to work. We need to work together. And I think it's been prevalent to see that it is not until we get into a crisis that we realize how much we depend and need each other. And when I
Yes.
think about what you were saying about socializing with the young people, when I think about maybe that child who's an only child, what kind of
Absolutely.
things can we as parents or especially parents who may only have that one child in the household, and we
Right.
know that our social skills are important in those developmental
Absolutely.
years. What can be done to foster that in children now that we're not able to get them together in that classroom? And we know sometimes we might act up because I remember my days, I love to talk. So,
Absolutely.
how can we continue to foster that in children right now when we're going through this social distancing?
I think they're probably more prepared for this than we are in terms of social media, Snapchat, and TikTok, and some of the other platforms they've been on for a while. So they're more prepared for this than we are. However, they still want to get together, and even if
Mhm.
you notice a lot of times when we have teens together, they're in the presence of each other, but they're all on their cell
Mhm.
phones. They might be
Mhm.
texting each other, but you're right in the
Yes.
room with each other. I think they're
Mhm.
going to gain a greater appreciation for that
Mhm.
closeness in that relationship. But if you're a parent, you don't look out, you've got a one child. I think it's encouraging to maybe make sure that you have plenty of family night, family opportunities so that you can connect, talk about those feelings. What is your child feeling during this time? Is there a need for um, maybe some help and support and counseling, because during this time it's a lot of stress for not only for children but for adults as well, that we're dealing with some of the stress of being bombarded constantly by covid-19 and what's
Mhm.
happening, and some of the sickness and death that's occurring. So I think that talking and communicating is probably the best thing to do, and there's nothing wrong with having virtual play dates. Set up some virtual play dates and virtual opportunities with your friends, maybe the children that your child might hang out with. There's
Mhm.
some virtual activities that they can do online that might encourage and stimulate that togetherness. Even though they're apart, it still allows them to know that we are together, we can support each other, and we can say a kind word to each other just to lift us through this situation that we're facing. And my prayers are hopefully, at some point in time, we'll see some closure to this. But during that time, just keeping our spirits up and maintaining a positive attitude and being clear.
And when you were saying the stress level in counseling, and say if there is a student who's feeling some of the effect from what we're going through right now, are they able to contact a school counselor virtually? How does that work? If I'm a student and I just feel, I'm just so claustrophobic and I'm hearing just
Absolutely.
what do I do? How can I reach out, or what would I do if I need to have some assistance?
Well, a lot of this goes back to the relationship piece. Have you already established a relationship with your students? My counselors actually set up Google phone numbers so the students can
Mhm.
call and reach out to them constantly. My social worker has also set up a Google phone number where her students can call her, and she gave them her district cell. They can communicate with her. And these are kids that have seen her before, they've worked
Mhm.
with her before, but she keeps a track of those students. And so our counselors have been reaching out, calling those students, seeing if they need help and support. But we also made that information available to the public on our website, and also on social media, saying, hey, we want you to contact our guidance department, our social workers, if you need that help. Because some of our students were already facing difficulties
Mhm.
prior to this particular situation. So they still need that support, that ongoing care. And we want to make sure that they not digress, but they're able to progress forward. And this particular added stress does not disrupt their life too much in the progress they've made so far.
Okay, thank you for that answer because that is a concern. I know that even on a national level, there was concern about the possibility of the increase in suicidal events as well as also domestic violence. And so that is a concern that I want to be sure that people are aware that, especially our young people, that you still can
Absolutely.
reach out for that help, that you're not isolated. And I'm glad to hear that
Absolutely.
you've actually set something up to address that. And it's really
Absolutely.
good.
You've
And
got to. Our young people need that help and that support. And we can't, just because we're not in school doesn't mean that their problems don't exist and those problems stop. They still need that support.
And saying that with them not being in school, do you think because they're not physically able to socialize, does that maybe heighten some of the stressors and anxiety they might have? Because maybe because I had that friend that I can get there and talk to closely. Do you think that what we're going through now kind of heighten their anxiety?
Absolutely, that might heighten some of the anxiety, and also for some of our students being in the home environment where there are already stressors. Now they're
Mhm.
at the home environment more hours during the day without that support. So if there are things that are occurring in the home that we have provided help and support with in terms of family counseling, in terms of some outside agencies such as family preservation, if we are not on the pulse of that situation going on in the home, it can cause those kids to digress. So, this isolation, we're not able to see those signs. So, it's so
Mhm.
important that we reach out. So, I'm encouraging my teachers, I'm encouraging my counselors. We reach out and we also look for signs. And if we know that there was a problem before, and if we knew that we were working with a family prior to this situation,
Mhm.
that work has to continue to ensure that that child's going to be successful.
Well, thank you. And just in general, are there any particular thoughts that you have that you would want to speak out to not only the people in Florence, but just throughout the state and the nation of South Carolina and the nation of the USA? Are there any things that you would want to just speak to that you feel that we need to know, from especially from the educational side and your view? What do you want us, I would say the ones who are not as knowledgeable in this area as you are, what would you want to share with us and tell us and advise us of things that we could even do to help?
I would say right now, don't get overwhelmed, parents. Do not get overwhelmed. Uh, there's a lot of work maybe coming to your child. It may seem overwhelming, but if you begin to feel overwhelmed, if your child feels overwhelmed, contact the teacher, email the teacher, let the teacher know that your child's overwhelmed, and find out what can be done to provide additional support or modification to that assignment so that the child can complete it and not be stressed out. A lot of parents are expressed on social media that I don't see how teachers do it. So I think there's a great appreciation for teachers right now
Mhm.
because of what's going on. But when this is over with, let's not forget to continue to support teachers. We have a shortage of teachers already. We want to support them. We need them. We need quality teachers in the classroom to work with our young people, individuals who care about children. They care
Mhm.
about making sure that regardless of what your zip code is, it doesn't matter. there's potential in that
Mhm.
child, and you're helping that child reach their fullest potential. So I want us to continue to work hard, support our educational system, and most importantly, I would say for us as a town, as a community,
Mhm.
as a county, as a state, as a country, take care of each other. And let's not wait until a situation occurs before we begin to really think about how precious life is and how important it is to connect with one another through positive relationships, and making sure that we indicate and we show our appreciation every day to those who work and those who serve. And for those individuals, whether they're doctors, whether they are nurses, or our CNAs that are in the hospitals who are on the front line, or even our police officer, and even some of our
Mhm.
city workers who are providing us services right now during this time, and our individuals who are delivering our mail and delivering packages to hospitals, to companies. Just thank you for being on that front line, and the support that you've provided thus far uh, during this tragedy, and even putting yourself in harm's way. I know personally, I'm very thankful for what you do every single day. And as a country, as a community, we just need to continue to support one another. Once we move beyond this, let's not forget it, but keep that same spirit going.
Well, Craig, thank you for those encouraging words. And now, as you were speaking, I did have a thought when it comes to parenting. I remember having to help my children with their homework. And there were some things that and I am a nurse. And so I've got those different degrees, college degrees, but some of the things that they
Absolutely.
had, I had to review. So for the parent
Absolutely.
who do, when y'all doing your assignments now virtually, I don't know how the homework and things work, but as a parent, if I'm having an issue with helping my child, what do I do?
Absolutely.
Because like I said, I had to review, and now they're home and they're getting these things. If I've got to help them, who do I turn to if I don't know how to help my child with the work they're doing?
There's a lot of different tools that you can use. One of the things that our kids have learned to do really well, but they don't often do it when it comes down to questions regarding assignments,
Mhm.
is Googling. Googling and looking for YouTube videos. There are a lot of YouTube videos showing teachers working and solving, whether it be math equations, doing
Mhm.
experiments that are aligned with the curriculum that the students are currently in and they're visiting right now. Khan Academy is another great tool. Discovery Education also has a number of instructional videos that are accessible that will help students walk through and navigate this difficult time. It's hard. I mean, I personally have been away from the advanced math
Mhm.
for a while. So I have to refresh my memory on some of those things as well. So it's nothing for parent to be ashamed of. You don't do it every day, and if you don't do it every day, sometimes it does not become accessible in your mind immediately. So don't fret. It is tough, but there's a lot of internet resources out there.
Well, I thank you for that because and I love how you kind of cushion it for us and let us know that it's okay,
It is
because
okay.
and I smile because there's probably some parents who are going to need the children to actually show them how to access the YouTube and to Google things. But it's good to know that you've actually thought through this process and you have things in place to address all the needs that we have, especially as parents, and that we can help our children. So I want to commend
Absolutely.
you in the educational system for thinking about the parents in this process, because I would love to say I love teachers. I believe that teachers are the ones who help to mold the minds of the students. And even
Absolutely.
right now, like you said, I noticed a great appreciation. I remember seeing one of the posts my family member did, one of my great nieces, and she was stating that she said, "I can't believe it's 7:30 and these children bouncing around and they're singing." So I think
Exactly.
this is like an early summer, and
It
still,
is.
yeah, it is, but still having the work to do with it. So
Absolutely.
I want to commend you as a principal for all that you do, because
Thank you so much.
I know you put the time in to get the education that you have and to be able to take that and then pour into others, pour into your staff, but also pour into the parents and the children. I know that's a great drain on you. And I thank you for commending those on the front line of the COVID-19 effort to protect us. But also, I would like to commend our education professions, because even though we're going through all this, you're still out there fighting for our children.
Absolutely.
And
We've got to.
well, I thank you, because if we're, as parents are now focusing on things that we're facing, the delay of our employment. Some are not having that
Absolutely.
income. They have so many stress things that's pressing on them right now, that the fact that you're looking after the children's education is so important. And so I don't want to let this time pass without acknowledging what you do all the time, and sometimes not even being recognized for this. But I do believe what we're going through now is to make all of us appreciate everyone who provides a service within the human race. And
Absolutely.
and for me to be able to talk to you, I want to thank you for all that you've done, especially in Florence, because I've when you have a certain energy, I find that it's the way that you carry yourself, and also the way you articulate things, that I believe that is a good role model, that children, when they see you, they see that. And it also gives them something to be able to focus on being at that level. Now, for the children who right now, who may be at home, who do
Mhm.
not have that role model that they see in you, what kind of things can we, or even as parents or community, do in our virtual world right now to foster this sense of confidence in our young people? What would you ask for us to do as the general public in the virtual reality world to help young people? What can we do?
I think that it's so important that if you are in your churches, and so many of us attend our church on a daily basis, on a daily basis of working somehow, whether it be on Wednesday night for services, or some youth program, etc. Stay connected with those young people. Stay connected with them, and it's a great way for you to reach out to them even now to encourage them during this time. Those individuals are members of some of the fraternities, sororities, even the Rotary Club. If you are mentoring a young person, you've been mentoring a young person, don't stop that mentoring right now. Reach out to them. It's so critical and so important to encourage them to finish up that work. We just got a few more days to go before we are done with the school year. But right now, we just need you to finish that work up. So reaching out to these young people, staying connected. And like I said before, it's about relationships, keeping those relationships going. I know that some of the young people I'm running into now, that I had wonderful relationships with them when they were in middle schools, and now they are nurses, they are business owners. They are doing so much in this community right now today, but they remember those relationships that I had with them at that time. So continue those positive relationships. You never know what it is that you might say or you might do that might transform the life of a young person. So be careful with your words, be positive with your words, but encourage our young people to be great.
Well, Principal Washington, thank you. And I know we're approaching the close of our time together, but I do want to express that what you said is just so important, because I remember being at West Florence High School, I believe it was my senior year, and Miss Driffin was my teacher. And there are a lot of things I may not remember about my youth, but I remember being in the hallway. I was leaving her class, and she told me, she said, Teresa, I challenge you to make an A in my class, because see, I could make a B with no effort. I was an honor student. I could go in there,
Wow.
listen, do my little work. There was nothing to it. And she said, I challenge you. She said, to make an A in my class. She said, I can't remember. I know she challenged. She said, well, and she said, can you do it? I bet you. I bet you can't do it. And I looked down at her. I
Love
said,
it.
I can make an A if I want to. And so I made an A to show her, if I want to, I can make an
Awesome.
A. And so that,
Awesome.
you're right. And that's why it's so important that we have you and the other professionals in our children's life, because I would never forget that teacher. She challenged me because she saw
Absolutely.
that I was doing what I needed to do, but she saw potential that I could do more. And
You
she
could be
called
great.
that on me. Yeah. And
Yes, and
so
she called you on it.
she called me on it, because I was like, hey, I go in that class and I do what I need to do. I didn't
Absolutely.
have to worry about it. And I was making my A's and B's, no effort. But when she challenged me, the young person in me was like, I've got to show her. Let me show her I
I've
can
got
do
to
this.
show her.
That's
That
right.
is awesome. That is
Yeah,
awesome. But you will never forget that. And you
yeah,
haven't.
I haven't. That was a mark in my life that when she did that, and to this day, I tell people when someone presents me like with a challenge, it's like
Yeah.
it's on.
It's
So
on.
far, it's on,
I
and that's why I
love
said,
it.
you educators, day to day, every day, you're so important
Every
to us.
day.
I'm so glad that the virtual world will keep you in our lives because you're so important. I am where I'm at today, not only just because of my family and my loved one, but because of the educators in my life, because of the teachers who
Absolutely.
taught me in college and everything else. I am the person and the woman I am because of the people who poured into my life. So
Absolutely.
thank you and continue to pour into the young people's lives. I appreciate having you here today, and I'm looking forward to talking
Thank
to you
you
in the
so
future.
much.
Because
Absolutely.
we're gonna make it through this.
Absolutely, we are. And through this all, I think we are going to learn, and we're going to stay, most importantly, together. We're going to rise up above this.
I agree. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
to the listeners, thank you for being a part of today's program. And any educator that you know out there, if you're on Facebook, give them a thumbs up for all that they do. Because if you're a parent, I know you appreciate the fact that these educators was there and they're going to be there in the
Yeah.
future for us. So take care of them so they can continue to pour into our children's lives. And once again, I'm Teresa Myers Ervin. I'm a city councilwoman, but not only that, I'm also a candidate for mayor for the city of Florence. So I would invite you to go to my website, which is florencemayor.com. Learn about me, read about me, but also look me up on Facebook. I am Teresa Myers Ervin for mayor. And I say that to say, above all, I've always been a servant because I'm a nurse, but also I'm a leader because I'm also a nurse. I believe that as one body of people throughout this country, we can make a difference. Yes, we're going through something that's tough right now, but we are survivors. We will make it through this. We are a nation now that's on social media and everything else, continuing to educate, continue to work, and to educate each other about how we can survive this. But most of all, to our educational profession, to Principal Washington, thank you for teaching us. Thank you for pouring into our young
You're
people
welcome.
because they're our future, but our future cannot
Absolutely.
exist without the education that we receive from the people in our presence. So, Principal Washington, thank you. I'm looking
Thank
forward
you for
to
having me.
talk to you in the future, okay?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Have a
Thank
great one.
you. You
All right.
too.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
You too.